Okay, Lane, we got the back of your poster up here, and let me go ahead and make some comments here. Okay, so the one thing I want to notice is that I know you have two images here, and really you only need one image. Um, this one is not needed. Let's get rid of that image, and let's start thinking about what we have here. This is an 11 by 17 poster, or in this case, 17 by 11, which means this typeface right here is just enormous. I'll bet that's pushing 18 point type size. That's just enormous. Another thing that we learned throughout our weeks is that center composition is not always an interesting, it's very rarely ever the most interesting way to present type. And the reason is because it creates symmetrical negative space on each side of the negative space. And we've actually talked about this several times in the class. So I find this a curious decision to center this type right here. I don't think you have enough type. I don't. I think that you have, this is a bio. What you've done is remember this is a bio, it's a biographical paragraph, biographical information. So right now, you're not giving biographical information. You're just saying that you're just giving the information of his laureate information of receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. So there's really no bio here at all. We don't know where he's from. We don't know where he was born. We don't know how old he is. We don't know what year he was born. We don't know anything about him other than the fact that he won a Nobel Peace Prize. And I think that is a main issue, is the bio information is not complete. I think a really good fix here would be to take that image right there, center it, and then just take right here, come over here, and let's go 2 columns or even 3 columns. You could easily make this a 4-column grid by moving this over. That timeline would be 1, then 3 columns of type with the image centered on top of the 3 columns, the top of the center column. I think that's a really good way to go. As far as the timeline itself goes, right now you've got too many visual stops in your timeline. There's no reason that you're pointing these arrows and you're pointing them to the left off the page. And I think we've saw that before. And that's a really, really significant issue in terms of visual communications. If you stand on a corner in a busy downtown area and point, it's going to be about 10 seconds before everyone on that corner is looking where you're pointing. That's what we do as human beings. Somebody gives us an instruction, points us to look at something, and 10 times out of 10, we're going to do it. So right now, you're telling your viewer to look off the page. So they're going to. And my concern here is that you're going to lose your viewer by pointing off the page. They're going to get distracted by something else and move on and leave your composition. And that is a kiss of death for a graphic designer. And we know that. We want your viewer to be in your composition as long as possible. So I highly recommend not pointing any arrows off the page in your design work. This right here, this vertical line here, I don't necessarily think it's needed either. I would remove those arrows and that vertical line and just move, and that can be your timeline. Is there something you can use to create an interest in your timeline? Maybe color. I know that there's some interesting colors associated with South Africa. Gorgeous colors. Perhaps you could introduce some color into your timeline to give it a little bit more visual pizzazz. All right. So, and other than that, I would say that yeah, mainly it's just the information. Get that bio down. All right. Any questions at all? Please feel free to let me know. All right. Thanks.